In 1997, Stevie Nicks stood on a reunion stage, glared at her ex-lover and bandmate Lindsey Buckingham, and belted out the climax to Silver Springs. The tension vibrating between them was raw, unsimulated, and deeply uncomfortable. Watching that specific performance decades later, author Taylor Jenkins Reid realized how the lines between personal trauma and public art blur under stage lights. She built an entire novel, Daisy Jones and the Six, around that exact dynamic. Translating that oral history to television hit an immediate roadblock. Audiences clock the fraud of actors mimicking chords to pre-recorded studio tracks. The rock and roll mystique shatters. The production threw out the standard playback playbook. They physically engineered a functioning band from scratch, turning actors into a working 1970s stadium act. Adapting Daisy Jones quickly outgrew normal television production boundaries. It mutated into a massive transmedia experiment, testing whether a manufactured illusion could harness the erratic magic of a real rock band. The first step in selling the illusion was architectural. The creators abandoned the book's transcribed interview format for a mockumentary style, forcing the visual starkness of 1997 interview footage to clash against archival fly-on-the-wall clips from the 70s. Identifying the interviewer as Billy Dunn's adult daughter transforms the retrospective into a direct confrontation. These aging rock stars must recount their past failures to the person who inherited their mess. That demand for hard reality extended to the geography. Production designer Jessica Kender flat out refused to rely on Hollywood soundstages to recreate famous historical landmarks. They went straight to the source, shutting down traffic on the actual Sunset Strip. Crews painstakingly masked modern commercial structures and contemporary storefronts surrounding legacy venues like the Whiskey A Go-Go. Down the street, they restored the Viper Room to its 1970s facade. Anchoring the production in the dirt, asphalt, and active geography of Los Angeles gave the show a tactile grit. By operating inside real architectural history, the series avoided the sterile plastic sheen of a studio-bound production. But a real dive bar means nothing if the music sounds canned, so the showrunners enforced a strict mandate on the cast: 0 instrumental miming and no vocal doubling. When the COVID-19 pandemic delayed filming for 2 full years, the actors used the time to drill. They entered an intensive band camp, transforming a group of mostly non-musicians into a live performance machine capable of playing an entire 11-track album. To supply those tracks, producer Blake Mills assembled a collective of heavy-hitting indie rock icons, composing legitimate, chart-worthy hits for the fictional Aurora album. Yet while the production obsessed over sonic realism, the writing team actively subverted the rigid, often regressive tropes of 1970s stadium rock. The writers drastically expanded Simone Jackson, elevating her to a queer pioneer navigating the vibrant underground New York disco scene alongside her partner, Bernie. Authenticity required more than mimicking the 70s sound. The production represented the marginalized voices that the era's rock mythology typically ignored, giving the manufactured band a layer of cultural honesty. All this meticulous engineering paid massive dividends. Amazon confidently marketed the group as a real commercial entity, rolling out physical vinyl releases and heavily promoted clothing lines. This chart tracks the band's audio footprint, illustrating an exponential spike in monthly listeners. The fictional group pulled over 3.5 million active streams. But this second, Flatline, tracks linear television viewership. The streaming numbers completely dwarf the modest TV ratings. This data exposes the fictional band paradox, a hard structural ceiling that separates a manufactured media property from a genuine, breathing musical act. Real bands sustain their cultural relevance through ongoing tour cycles and album releases. Daisy Jones and the Six has none of that. Their entire existence is permanently trapped within a finite 10-episode bubble. Modern transmedia storytelling can engineer a pop culture phenomenon and print an instant hit record, but a theatrical illusion, no matter how convincing, eventually runs out of script.